Welcome to You Are Your Name. We're discussing balanced names with a name consultant from the Catalan philosophy. Thank you for joining us, Doria. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be a part. Thank you.
Doria Delane is a senior name consultant, and she has a wealth of experience that she can bring to understanding how people would benefit from balanced names. And that relates to the question for today, which is, can you share any anecdotes of people who have balanced their names and improved their lives?
Well, there's a very short one that we received. I was talking to a lady on the phone, and she said, could I notice a difference in my life? I just decided on my balanced name, and I've been thinking about it. And I woke up being happy for the very first time. Now, that may seem startling to you, but to her, she recognized an energy shift in her life. And for her to respond that way showed that she was responding to the vibrational change that she connected with her name.
Excellent. I have one from the discussion forum, and this one is a Calgary student who says, I changed my name 20 years ago during my first year of university. Though still fairly young, I recognized the strengths and shortcomings from my original name as described in my name report from the Catalan philosophy. The key limitation that struck me was how I would work very hard to achieve a goal, but someone else would get the credit. Having seen that happen already a few times during high school, I didn't want the rest of my life to go the same way. So I studied the first course, life analysis training, and then changed my name. At first, it felt a bit strange, like putting on a new shirt. That was still a bit stiff, but within a few months, it became quite comfortable. And after about a year, I couldn't think of myself as my old name. I was my new name. Consequently, my confidence improved. I was more self-expressive and was respected among my fellow university students for my contributions in class and in various clubs. Since my university days, I've continued to study the Catalan philosophy and gone on to fulfill any goal that I've taken on, including completing a master's degree, completing projects for Fortune 500 companies across the United States, traveling in Europe, finding and marrying my soulmate, building my dream house in Calgary, and starting a wonderful family. Overall, my change of name and study of the philosophy has grounded my emotions and given me the strength of mind and peacefulness to truly be the master of my own life. LB from Calgary. So that was an interesting one.
And further, the recent client's response was, once she read her name report, it clarified why her life was so conflicting when she was young, due to the vibration of her names. When she married, she remarked how she noticed the difference in the conditions in her life and the difference in the family due to the surname. When she changed her name to a balanced name, she was very aware of the transition in her whole personality and became aware of a greater lightness within herself, a happier expression, and started to experience more stable, progressive results. Knowing one's purpose and experiencing greater positivity in my life has been like a light in the darkness, and I am looking forward to building my own life based on these teachings to create the best fulfillment possible, to understand my partner, family, and friends better through applying these basic principles.
And here's one relative to the change in their thinking. This gentleman says, before I changed my name, I was in a very emotional state with a lot of angry outbursts. I was also involved with the performing arts, especially theater, to the detriment of other aspects of my life, including my teaching career. Within 3 years of changing my name, I was much more stable and focused. My interests also changed, and I took a number of computer and business courses. Teaching was burning me out, and I credit my name change to give me the courage to abandon a career that I've wanted since 8th grade in search of other more rewarding careers. Now I have my own business, channeling my creativity along technical lines and enjoying a much greater freedom of finances, of mind, and of spirit. He created a very successful software company.
And a contact from Vancouver said, it is a complete metamorphosis. This is how and what I experienced in my life since I changed my name. My husband described it as a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And believe me, over the 14 years we have lived together, he has weathered the many storms and changes that have brought me much happiness now. My changes started over 2 years ago with many steps forward and a few back. My name changes helped me to take the giant leap forward into my new understanding of life, my purpose, and my future. I am very excited and no longer in despair. But best of all, I am an individual that doesn't need anyone else's approval for my life because it is my life and my journey. Since a very early age, I have believed in a purpose. It has always been a very strong feeling, and I was never satisfied to just consume without giving. It is such a sense of freedom to understand my purpose and to go after it with complete confidence.
Here's one from a student. When I first received my name analysis, I was completely dumbfounded. The information given in my name report revealed my character and personality with such accuracy that I was amazed. But more than amazed, I was intrigued and curious. I wanted to know how it was possible for anyone to describe my life in such detail by the mere analysis of my name and birth date. Thus, I started studying the life analysis training as a correspondence student after changing my name. Honestly, the decision to take the life analysis training and change my name has been one of the most beneficial and important life changes choices in my life to date. I'm confident that with life analysis training and the name change, I have managed to set out on a wonderful journey towards greater peace and happiness within and around me. To this date, I've been 9 months since I changed my name, and I'm extremely grateful for the improvement and changes that have taken place in my life in such a short time. I notice that I've become more patient, more understanding, more appreciative of life and all it has to offer, more thoughtful, more even-tempered, more self-confident, more persevering, and happier to give and not expect anything in return, less moody, less critical, less arrogant, less selfish, less egotistical, fearless, and very importantly, even more analytical than I was before. The Kalex philosophy is truly the key to the door that leads to a life full of peace and happiness, and a name change is definitely the first step on the way.
And here's an interesting one. She titled her letter A New Life. Can a name change your life? Not only change your life, but save your life. The Kalex philosophy saved my life. If this statement seems dramatic and you are inclined to roll your eyes and let out a big sigh, don't. It is always worth reading the book that someone says is the best book they've ever read and hearing someone out when they tell you their life was saved. I was introduced to the philosophy when I was very young. My parents and sisters actually received a name analysis, and their names were changed before mine was. My father decided he couldn't insult my grandmother, so they didn't change my name. As a child, I was painfully shy, withdrawn, and easily hurt, devastated even over little criticisms. I lived in a constant world of fear. As a teenager, that fear and intensity of being in high school finally got to me, and I ended up in the hospital for 8 days. Still, my parents, even with the knowledge of the philosophy, did not choose to change my name. But when I was 20, my grandmother passed away, and I felt strong enough to make a change. Through the philosophy, I chose a beautiful name. In a matter of days, I could feel a change. It started subtly, a different thought here, a different thought there, but it was a different experience that I have ever had. People around me began to comment. I seemed to be so much happier, but what had changed? See, I had gone from being very alone to someone who had much more outgoing qualities and a love of life. I was attracting people who just wanted to be around me for my humor and my happiness. I found the courage to move and finally moved along with my life. I have found such an affiliation with the Cavalierian people. Why? It is very powerful being around people who have examined who they are and what makes them what they are, and have chosen to change it. And with that kind of power comes serenity, happiness, and compassion. I know it may seem strange, but don't hesitate. Change your name. And you might say, whoever heard of that? Well, now you have. So don't turn away from this opportunity. You are on the threshold of your life. Just put your foot out. Close your eyes and take the step. How bad could that be? You have an opportunity to understand why your life is the way it is, but even better, how to make a positive change.
Very well written.
Yes.
This email came to me from our Calgary Center representative. I asked her if she wouldn't mind sending a few anecdotes. So they're just little snippets. She said one lady in Toronto, aged 19, had been trying for some time to move to the States and start a singing career without success. Shortly after her name change, she was accepted and is now singing on the stage in the US. Another young lady from Calgary had submitted 20 applications for job interviews under her old name to no avail. Following a balanced name and submitting a new application in the new name, she was interviewed and hired on the one application. A Calgary lady, aged 38, who had never been able to attract a marriage partner, balanced her name. Within a year, she was happily married. The balanced name allowed that natural fulfillment of her desire for a family and a home. And here's another one. A young Calgary family had a 1.5-year-old child who cried night and day to the extent that the neighbors couldn't get any sleep at night. Finally, they took the life analysis training seminar and balanced their names. They stated that from the time the child was called the new name, it stopped screaming and never had that problem again. Another anecdote, a lady from Calgary who had established a balanced name told us for a long time, as long as she can remember, she had a pain in her solar plexus. The night after her name change, the pain was gone. The only time it came back was when her family called her old name. That's an interesting one.
Yes.
And the last one, a young student, aged 19, wrote, I balanced my name and commenced studying vocabulary and philosophy. Within a year's time, people commented, she's a different girl. The self-confidence, health, and natural expression of my thoughts was gained, as well as the knowledge of my true purpose in life. The balanced name and the study of the principles of the philosophy have brought the unfoldment of my inner purpose through following the cyclic periods of time, through opportunities to serve others and share the knowledge of the basic principle I was so fortunate to gain. My appreciation will always go out to the young student who approached my mother and myself at a theater under the stars and gave us a brief analysis, which changed the course of our lives to greater success and happiness. I thought that was interesting. Did you have any others you wanted to share?
Yes, a lady from California wrote us. About 6 weeks ago, I came across the vocabulary and philosophy. It made a lot of sense. For the first time, I had something that explained why I was the way I was. Something that I had been looking for all my life. I could actually see where my state of imbalance was coming from. Understanding the sensitivity of my name showed me the influence I was under and what my family has also been influenced by. As I continue to study the principles of the vocabulary and philosophy, I am starting to gain an understanding of other people and how they think. It has been quite an experience in just 6 short weeks.
Here's another one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The name report explains everything. I can look back at my life and clearly see how so much suffering has been related to my name, soon not to be my name. I'm so grateful that your organization has the courage to provide a report that contains strong and precise, even negative information. I was a little worried that it would be fuzzy and inconclusive, but not so. This report is a great relief to me. I have spent almost my entire life struggling to find my way, studying philosophies, practicing physical and mental exercises and control, varying my diet, trying a myriad of herbs, and all of these things, while extremely valuable, have helped me only partially and temporarily. Friends and family, mostly myself, are puzzled at how I could be so hardworking, so earnest, so intelligent, yet so unfulfilled, unsuccessful, and plagued with periods of devastating depression. I could chronicle my entire life experience and it would correlate directly to my name report. But I suspect that this would not surprise you. I know I am perfectly sane and I know I have great potential. It's time to allow me to be me. So he's just in the process of changing his name at that point.
And a further contact wrote, I'm a 20-year-old student attending college. I changed my name 2 years ago, and I have noticed drastic changes in my thinking and feelings. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming because I'm adjusting to a completely new outlook in life, and I'm slowly relearning this new me. I feel as if my past just never existed. I reread my journal entries about 3 years ago, and I couldn't believe all the things I wrote. Was I really that depressed? Where did this jealousy come from? Why was I so insecure? Were some of the questions that ran through my mind. It's quite unnerving and unexplainable, really, because I can't remember the way I really was exactly, but I do recall vaguely feeling dark, gloomy, depressed, hurt, and unloved by everyone. What's amazing is that I've never really made an effort to change, except my name. But the changes just occurred when I wanted them to or not. I never went to a therapist, never followed those help books, or even made New Year's resolutions. The changes just fell on my lap, basically. Now, these are internal changes, not just external. The world is still the same. I still live in the same house, but at the same time, I view my house completely different. I feel more passionate about my goals. And whenever I fail, I don't wallow in discouragement like I used to. I just pick myself up, dust the dirt off, and try again. With Kabbalions and the principle of life, anything is possible. A weed can truly grow into a flower if it takes the right steps to change. I want to say thank you, Kabbalions, for this website, for your existence, and for your goal to serve humanity. I truly am proof that a name really can change a person.
Very nicely written.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a few anecdotes. Obviously, we had many more, but hopefully that gives you a sense that a balanced name can have a real impact on your life. Thank you, Doria, for sharing those testimonials with us.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be able to share the truths of the principle.
Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help you. Number 1, the Balanced Name Recommendation Service. Join the thousands of others who have harmonized their names with their inner potential to improve their health, happiness, and success. Number 2, learn the principles of mental freedom. Participate in our online training program to gain the essential tools to create all the progressive changes you seek in your life. These proven truths will open up new perspectives and accelerate your attainment of health, happiness, and success. Number 3, let Kalex Solutions help you choose a balanced name for your business, because many business names are an impediment to one's overall business success.